Hi, my name is Jess Thornhill and I'm the Director of Voice User Experience at Volley. Volley creates games and fun, entertaining experiences for smart speakers like Amazon Alexa and Google Home. I'd love to share my opinion today on what I think the next 1, 3, 10 years looks like for voice technology and what we can do as a community to prepare for that future. It's important before we get started looking at the future to talk about the current landscape and what that looks like right now. At the moment, voice technology is very much focused on the smart speaker. Those smart speakers are at-home household devices. They're found in living rooms, kitchens, bedrooms, places where people spend a lot of time and where they congregate as a group, as a household, as a family. 55% of households in the US are predicted to own a smart speaker in 2022. I think that's a percentage we will continue to see rise. At Volley, we're also seeing a steady rise of consumers using those smart speakers to access games and entertainment. This idea of a voice-enabled game night is a concept that seems to be increasingly popular, and our data and research shows that more and more people are grouping around their device, around that Echo Show, around that TV, and are using those devices to play a game of Song Quiz or play The Price is Right. This makes a lot of sense. Voice technology is probably the lowest barrier for entry compared to any other technology or device. There are no consoles to figure out, no remotes, no buttons. So whether you're 7 or 77, it's fairly natural and straightforward to get stuck into a fun, exciting experience. This idea of smart speakers being a hub within the household is something that I am pretty sure we'll continue to see, especially as Amazon and Google continue to release devices that are sort of geared towards that purpose. For example, the latest Echo Show 15 has been specifically designed to be hung up on a wall in a central location of the house so that it's something that the entire household can use. Home, house, household, these are all really interesting words, and I think they're super important because that is something that will be shifting and evolving in the next 3 years and beyond. Voice technology is going to continue to grow as a means of interaction within the house, but it's also going to extend beyond that. We'll definitely see more home-based smart devices, more smart appliances, more smart security systems, and definitely more smart speakers. But we're also going to see devices that go beyond that. I'm talking about cars, more people talking to their cars and interacting with experiences there. What about smart glasses, AirPods, things that people will use as they're up and about and walking around and are outside of that household that is currently so central. We're already seeing a lot of those devices have both audio and visual elements, so people talking into their device and listening, but seeing something as well. And that's definitely something that will continue. But a lot of these new devices will not have screens. So it's important now for businesses to think about how do we create experiences that can work on both of those types of mediums. And it's also really important to think about how do businesses understand the context that a user is in and best design an experience that works for them. For example, what does a person want to see? What do they want to listen to? What do they want to talk about if they're waking up and they're just next to their Echo device? What about when they're driving in their car to work or if they're walking to a grocery store? What about if they're preparing dinner for their family or whether they have friends around and they're just looking to have some fun in their living room? These are all contexts that are just going to increase, and there'll be more and more of these, and it's really important to think about what experiences we're designing for these new contexts and these new devices as they arise. Beyond these 3 years and looking into even further in the future, I think there'll just be increasing proliferation of devices and audiences as new contexts arise and people find more and more reasons and moments to be using voice technology as a means to accessing content or information. We'll not just be thinking about voice plus visuals, but I think we'll also be thinking about voice plus visuals plus AR, an additional augmented layer to accessing content and immersive experiences. And then the challenge for businesses is not just going to be how do we provide the right experience for the right context, but also how do we provide a never-ending experience that sort of flows from context to context. So not just a siloed game that you can play on your Echo Show device, but how do we take people from that Echo Show and continue their experience with us and with our brand as they leave the house and they go to work in their cars? How can they continue where they left off, or just be recommended the next best experience depending on what they're doing, where they are, and what we know about them. As builders of these voice experiences, it's incredibly important that we think about where this technology is heading in the future instead of just focusing on what we can build right now. 3 areas that we need to really focus on. Number 1, how do we create experiences that are adaptable for these new devices? How do we create experiences that make sense if someone's playing on their earpods versus watching on their Fire TVs? Number 2, we need to start preparing for these new contexts. Where will people be when they want to use voice technology? What will they expect when they're interacting with your brand and with that voice experience? And what will they be doing as they are interacting with their experience? And number 3, it's incredibly important to start to understand how your experiences can connect with each other, how you can create new use cases that work with these new contexts, but also flow between these contexts and these new devices, so that more users are spending more time interacting with you. The last few years of voice technology have been incredibly exciting already, and I don't see that pace slowing down in the future. Thanks.